The Science of Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, it's the science of Sherlock Holmes, the real forensics behind the greatest detectives cases. I was just reading a section on the his use of animals in it, in a lot of the stories, and kind of naturalist at the time, in the time that he's writing with Darwin and those views, and just taking a new naturalist approach in Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's own views on that stuff.
Good read?
So far, what are you enjoying?
A bagel. And I'm sorry, Jacob, I stole one of your bagels if you're watching. But I have to take my medicine with something on my stomach.
Yeah. And you went for the first food you could get.
I went through I was like, oh, we have like a minute and 17 seconds left.
Right.
And I am a dumbass and forget to take my medicine until the very last second.
These things happen. I was like that a lot whenever I was having to be on medication for my gout. It would be one of those where they wanted me to take it even if I wasn't flaring up for a little while, just to keep it out of the system, keep it all in check. And yeah, there'd be days where I'd go 3 days without it and then be like, ooh, that kind of flared up on me. I haven't been taking my medication.
That happens. How is your gout doing?
I haven't had any kind of attack, I would say, in almost a year now.
Since Amanda dropped something on your foot?
No, that was 2 years ago.
I know, I just wanted to say it.
Yeah.
So our hashtags for tonight, Jeff,
let's
are still spooky season. Max wants it to always be Halloween, which is accurate. Sean comes home because I was on the phone with Sean when I made the post.
I'm glad that he's back home.
It's supposed to say Halloween forever. However, it says Halloween for Eevee.
So Halloween for Pokemon.
Why not? Where's the angry Pikachu at?
Laying in bed, her stomach was a bit blah from yesterday, and she ate something today, and it just didn't settle right either.
Yeah, so we talked about it today.
So she might be taking a nap.
Oh, all right. Well, I hope she rewatches us.
I hope she. If anything, I will show her the highlights of whatever happens on the show. Be like, watch this part. I said something funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you show her that part.
Yeah, we'll do.
And hashtag guilty pleasure movies.
Ooh.
So I know I'm guilty of this.
Okay.
I have certain movies, TV shows, books, video games even that I'm like, low key, I like this shit.
Yeah. Well, amongst your normal community of friends, or even community of people who are also within that, they're like, wait, that's the one that you like?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty much.
Everybody's guilty of this. I mean,
that's why they're called guilty pleasures.
Exactly. Because nobody wants to say it, but you enjoy it. You do.
Yeah, like the Twilight movies.
Right. That'd be one for you for sure.
Yep. What about you?
For mine, it would have to be video games. I still play NCAA 2004 football.
Why?
It's the one that I played probably the most whenever it first came out, and it was my favorite one to play. And I just liked that the way that you could create the teams and the uniforms and stuff like that. They've made it better in the ones that came after that. I've played the ones after that. But really, if I'm wanting to just like throw in an old PlayStation game, that's my go-to whenever I'm just really feeling it. It's kind of one where, yeah, it's 2022, and that still will be the one that I will play. I'll even pick that before I'm like, oh, I'll play this Madden game. I'm like, no, I'll play some 2004 college football.
So what is the difference between an old classic, either video game, movie, whatever, and a guilty pleasure? What do you think?
So the reason why I consider that a guilty pleasure instead of an old classic is because it's a game like the EA games like that, where one was made every single year from literally 96, 97, I think, for the college one at least, all the way up until like 2010, 2011. Because then they had the whole with the college ones where the players not getting paid and stuff like that, where it's like, okay, we can't have these games anymore, and just focus only on the Madden side, the NFL side of it, and quit doing the college games.
So I just Googled NCAA video games.
Okay.
And it looks like NCAA basketball is a 1992 game.
Okay.
That's basketball,
Yeah, that's the basketball one.
right? College football's national championship, 1994.
Okay. Now, was EA producing that one?
It was Sega.
Okay. Sega
So
for the Genesis made a lot of sports games. Like
yes,
like
that's probably why it was called college football and not NCAA.
right. It wasn't backed by the NCAA.
Right.
They probably even, I'm not even sure if they got licensed by any. I've never played that one, so I don't even know if it's actual college teams that they went with, or if they just are like Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Like they don't have something like Boston College or Tulsa or any of like the smaller ones like that.
Right. So NCAA Final Four basketball is 1994.
Okay.
So we're looking at early 90s for NCAA games coming
Right.
out, whatever,
Right.
whatever sport.
And so, that's one that, they make again and again and again, year after year after year. I mean, they still make Madden games every single year. NBA has a new game every single year. Heck, even WWE releases a game every single year now under the 2K brand.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching one of the YouTube channels I watch, they're running a My GM mode where they play as the general managers for Raw and SmackDown in the newest version of the WWE games.
Interesting.
FIFA has done it for ever, it feels like, with World Cup soccer and just FIFA games. So
yeah, FIFA is a one that does those games religiously as well.
Right. I mean, now and then I'll play like one of the kind of a guilty pleasure one, like one of the knockoffs, like rugby.
So your guilty pleasure still involves sports.
Yes. So my guilty pleasure when it comes to gaming is early 2000s PlayStation sports games.
I have to say that one of my guilty pleasures when it comes to video games would have to be Kingdom Hearts.
I actually enjoy Kingdom Hearts. It's really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I could do Mario and I could do Zelda, and I love those games. Donkey Kong, I love all the originals. But I can get down with some Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts is a fun one to play. I bought it. I bought the original Kingdom Hearts for PlayStation 2 earlier this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because one, they had it for a really good price at a vintage stock, and two, it was a game I didn't have already part of my gaming library, and third, it was a game that I thought that Keys could really get into because, again, it's lighthearted enough. It's a combination of almost anime-like characters from Final Fantasy feeling and Disney, so it's a nice mesh-up between the two. So it's an easy watch in both of those senses.
I feel like that would be right up Keys' alley because of how much she loves anime as well, especially in the style they do it in.
Right. So she did enjoy playing the first one. We didn't get much into it just because like it just was one of those where it was a small taste to see how she took to that kind of gaming, and she did enjoy it for that part.
I used to date a girl that when I played that game, I was only allowed to play it for a certain amount of time because how the character moves. made her seasick.
Oh yeah, the camera movement on that one is very open world feeling, like very early. Well, I say early GTA, but more like Grand Theft Auto 4 and ones where it's no longer the top view, where you're behind and you're moving the camera along with it.
No, it's more like it was very swift camera movements though,
Okay.
where you had to swivel the camera.
Oh, yeah, like whenever you're doing a task or fighting somebody, the
Yes.
movement on that, it's not so wide open. You're following it close, and it'll be like here, and then it'll pop right there to it, and then pop
Yep.
back. Yeah.
Yep, and that's exactly what it was. I'm trying to think of other video games that could be a guilty pleasure for me. I did once download the Vampire Diaries game for PC just because I love the Vampire Diaries, which is another one of my guilty pleasures.
Guilty pleasure game besides the one I mentioned. I mean that's not sports because I mean, I wouldn't consider it a guilty pleasure because it is a classic. Nemo's Dream World.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. Like that's the thing is like, I can't consider that a guilty pleasure because it's still.
But do you feel childish playing it as an adult?
What the funny thing is so that was a game that I played. I remember playing when I was like 8 or 9, maybe even a bit younger, like 6 or 7, somewhere in that age range. And thinking, back then, oh, I used to be really good at this game. Oh, I was so good at it, And then I come back and I played it, I want to think either last year or 2 years ago, for the first time since I was like 8 or 9. And being like, this is how far I got in the game? Why did I think I was good?
That's how I am with Lion King on Sega.
Yeah. That's how I was with Jungle Book.
I like the Jungle Book.
Whenever I finally played Jungle Book again, it was one of those where I was just like, oh, yeah, I remember I used to be pretty good at this. And then I was like, oh, I only ever just beat the first level, but the first level seemed hard to me, so I thought I was really good because I beat the first level.
Yeah, I can remember in Lion King, I would get to where Simba is a grown-up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going through the hyena's den.
Yep.
And everything's like red and fire.
Yeah.
And I've never been past that. Never.
So you got To the Den.
Yep, that's about it. I'm going to have to go, you know what, where's GameStop? GameStop.com right now.
Are you looking for a version of it?
Yes.
Because I have it on SNES.
Do we have a Super Nintendo or a regular Nintendo?
We don't have those anymore.
No, we still have the Nintendo somewhere.
Do you just have, do you have the classics? Or do you just have like the SNES classic and the NES classic ones? The one with
like the original.
Or are you talking about like the original console?
The original console.
Okay.
We do it probably downstairs.
It is downstairs, but I think it's a regular
It's just
Nintendo.
a
It's a
standard
regular
NES.
NES.
Nintendo.
My guilty pleasure game on the original NES that I still have is Where in Time is Carmen Sandiego.
Ooh, I love that game.
It's such a point-click random game, and you lose like so many times before you finally solve one crime in that one.
Do kids still have like computer class nowadays?
Are you thinking about the computer one, the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego that they had for PC, where you would go and talk to different people in villages?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play that one so much because we got the demo version for it on, I think, Windows 98. Either
Was it
Windows 98 or Windows 2000. One of the two had that as one of their demo games for it. And I used to play that so much.
The Oregon Trail.
And the Oregon Trail, I love that game.
That was a good one. You know that they
I
have
played a zombie one not too long ago.
They have that as a board game? Oregon Trail?
No, it's PC.
No, they have it as a board game now.
Yeah.
Jamie's like, no, it's PC. Yes. However,
Yes.
they do have it as
Yes,
a board game
they
now.
released it as a board game a few years ago, and I think they made an expansion off of it too.
Jeff, do you have it?
I do not have Oregon Trail.
That's surprising.
I've seen it a couple of times, and I almost bought it because whenever they first did it, they did a quick box cover that looked like the old PC version of it. But then they revamped it and put this new cover on it that was like Explorer's Edition. And I was like, ooh, that's a really good cover on a box. And yes, I am that kind of person that will buy a board game based on how good the box art looks.
I believe it.
Judging a book by its cover.
While it is judging a book by its cover, I'll agree with that. I knew that the heart of it would still be Oregon Trail, just in a non-PC version. And I already know.
Hold on, something's happening. Hold on.
You are playing Lion King.
There's some Circle of Life happening on there. We talked
just
about the
got
Lion
caught.
King, and we were playing some Lion King. We were talking about Lion King, and you just got Lion King.
Yeah, so like, I found a way to play it online,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, I could do this later, and like, it started just going.
Now, is it because I'm pretty sure Sega released a version of it as well?
Yeah, I played it on Sega.
Okay. I only ever played it on the Super Nintendo, and that's the version
Okay,
I
so
have.
here's the interesting fact. The first time I ever played The Lion King was actually on a U.S. Navy battleship.
Interesting.
Yeah, so my uncle was a captain,
Okay.
and he was at port at the like Kennedy Space Center area. I'll just say that. Huh?
Cape Canaveral.
Not quite Cape Canaveral.
But in that area.
In that area. And I had to be like 7, 8 years old. And I remember because my dumbass wore flip-flops, and this is probably a reason why I don't wear flip-flops anymore.
Okay.
I was getting onto the ship and I stubbed my toe. And I mean, like, when I stubbed my toe, I ripped like the front half of my toe off.
Wow.
Since then, I literally do not wear flip-flops. How many times have you seen me in flip-flops? Like maybe twice?
No, it's been like 5. But we've been together for like.
She said it's been like 5, but it might just have been like 2 days in a row where I didn't leave the house in them.
Mm.
Did I leave the house?
That's
She says
usually
yes. I don't believe her.
that's usually about the only time that I ever wear flip flops. It's like, oh, it's warm inside, so I'm not going to wear my nice house shoes because it's too warm. I'll wear flip flops.
Or I don't feel like putting on socks right now.
Yeah.
That never happens.
No, that does happen sometimes. So yeah, and so I stubbed my toe, and to calm me down, my uncle brought me into where he had like there was just a whole bunch of computers. It was like a bridge, and sat me down, and I played Lion King PC on the PC.
All right.
That was the first time I ever played it. So when I saw that it came out on Sega, because I got Sega like as soon as it was released, I got that game. I mean, I didn't buy it myself. I was like 8.
So fun bit of trivia, kind of talking about Disney-based games, and me asking you, did you play it on Nintendo or Sega? One of the games that they changed up how the gameplay is Aladdin.
I know.
In the Nintendo version, you throw apples, and in the Sega version, you throw knives. And the whole reasoning behind this was because Nintendo didn't want to promote violence in kids' games, and Sega just didn't care.
Let's talk about throwing. Let's talk about throwing anything at anyone in a video game is still violence, people.
Right. They viewed it as oh, if you throw an apple at somebody, it might not kill them. If you throw a knife at somebody, that might kill them.
Right.
And that was Nintendo's thing. Like Nintendo didn't mind it in general. It was just this is a kids game, cartoon kids game. We can't have that type of imagery.
Yep. I don't know why I just opened The Lion King in AutoCAD, but okay.
You want to that's your really guilty pleasure is your love of Lion King that much.
Yeah, I wanted to see if like there was a way for me to play this game that I haven't played in forever.
Yep.
Um,
And that,
yeah,
that plays into why I own it on the Super Nintendo. It's literally a game that I hadn't played in like forever. I went into some mom and pop game shop kind of place and they had it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't played this game in so long. And I had my Retron 5 already at that point. So it was one of those games that I bought just to give it a shot. And I was like, yep, this game is as hard as I remember it being.
so does it play on your Retron 5?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty much any because it's a licensed game, so any licensed games of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, and then the Game Boy games will all play.
I might
Like
have to like have you come over for a day and us just sit down and play games.
right, so like the ones that won't play, at least as far as I remember correctly, is any of them that were made by I want to think it's called like Tetron. So they
Okay.
they made those knockoff. You might have seen them in stores before. Like it's like RBI baseball, but instead of being the gray kind of case, it's black with the little side slider on the thing of it.
Yeah.
It won't play games like that because how the Retron works is essentially it treats it like as an emulator dump. So it doesn't take the physical copy of it. It reads what kind of game you have and then runs the emulation off of it.
Yeah. That's like I just downloaded. Oh, I just downloaded a Lion King that was basically an emulator based, and it doesn't want to run on my computer because I don't have an emulator installed.
Mm. Yeah, because that's how we were back in the college days. That's how we were able to play a lot of our games. Is my roommate set up a thing where it was an emulator and we could play all Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, and I think a good majority of N64 games.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a nice system to play. I played Adventure Island a lot.
Oh, Adventure Island. That's also a good one. I'm
Right,
concerned that nobody's commenting with their guilty pleasures.
right.
Let's hear your guilty pleasures, people.
So a guilty pleasure TV show, and I shouldn't consider it a guilty pleasure, considering anybody who knows me knows this about me. I'm a I'm a Pokemon junkie. Well, I do love Britain, but I also do love my Pokemon. And
To be honest, though, like I don't think that that's a guilty pleasure for anyone anymore,
I don't
and that's
think it's a
because
guilty
it's become
pleasure.
popular again.
Right. I don't view it as that. What my guilty pleasure is I've been angry for the last month because Keys is wanting to get into Pokemon.
Okay,
She wants to watch the
like
show.
the cards, or
No, the TV show. Slightly on the cards, more just the collecting. She's like, oh, that one's cute, that one's cute. But she wants to watch the TV show. The problem is no streaming service has the entire first season.
I know Netflix took it off.
Netflix has part of season one. They don't have the entire season.
Nope.
And I can't find it anywhere else. Not even Funimation, not Crunchyroll, anywhere. They have the new episodes. Hulu, I think, has some of the new episodes. Even Netflix has some of the newer ones. But of the original run, the first series before in the Orange Islands, it's hard to find. And those are my go-to ones. I'm aware, like you said, like yeah, Pokemon is still in the popularity area, but for me, it's the fact that it's still the 151 is going to always be my go-to.
I wouldn't say it's still popular because I think like it kind of dropped off.
I think it like re-peaked after Pokemon Go.
Yeah, so like it was like Pokemon, and then I'm like, oh, okay, Pokemon, and then Pokemon Go like just launched it back up.
Right. I mean, I think
Like,
as far as like the TV show, like it's still an ongoing show. There's not a lot of people who, I mean, yes, it still has enough viewers and enough people watching it on regular that it's in rotation. But I mean, it isn't in the area that it was popularity as it was like 20 years ago.
what's funny is I was actually out somewhere, and I don't think I can say where, but I was sitting in front of an older biker gentleman, and he has to be early 50s.
Okay.
And I pulled out my phone and I was doing something and my phone wasn't working for me. So I was like tapping on it.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally walked up to me and goes, "Are you playing Pokemon Go? Did we just become best friends?" And I was like, I mean, yes, I can add you on Pokemon Go right now if you want me to.
right.
It was great. It was great. So that was fun. That was fun. So yeah, I think just Pokemon's kind of made a comeback since Pokemon Go, and then you had Detective Pikachu, and now all of the different card decks that are coming out. I mean, like I have a very extensive collection of Pokemon cards. I have a very extensive, I want to say extensive, more as expensive collection of actual original Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah, if they're original pool, good quality, yeah, those tend to carry because like I think somebody was telling me it was a YouTube channel I was watching and they were talking about it. They bought, I mean, and yes, it was a booster box of original series, and for them to buy it, I think they said it was like $1,000.
Okay, mine's not that expensive.
Well, because again, it's an unopened box, unopened packages.
Yeah.
So you never know what hollow you might pull or super rares you might get out of that.
Yeah,
It's the fact that they're not printing those anymore. It's the fact that they're that old.
I have like, I want to say it's like maybe 18 original cards,
Okay.
and one of them is worth like $330.
Now is that 330 on the if it's been sealed and graded and stuff like that, or is that 330 loose?
330 loose as is.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was just like, well, I'm not getting rid of it, so it doesn't matter.
Is it the hollow Charizard?
No, that's worth so much more.
Well, no, that one's worth a lot more if it is sealed and graded.
No, listen. So it's not an original, but I'm just gonna say fuckface. Pulled a hollow Charizard probably about a year and a half ago. That card is worth $970.
Loose right now?
Yes. Well,
okay.
It dropped down to like 600, but I think it went back up because I don't remember if it's the black Charizard or not.
Oh, well, okay. You're talking about like new ones. I'm talking about
No, I'm talking about like new ones. Like he pulled a $900 new card.
Right. The new one that's probably the full art, the full art black Charizard.
Maybe. I don't remember. I've blocked a lot of him out.
Yeah, I got you.
So, and if he's watching, yeah, I'm talking about you. What?
Yeah, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, the first gen ones, just the price of them is insane.
I mean, even the old like Game Boy Color games or even Game Boy games of Pokemon can go through for a pretty penny right now.
Yeah, like I got yellow at, I think it was either, again, a one-off kind of mom and pop shop out in Colorado Springs back in the day, or at a vintage stock that I was just able to find one at. But I have Pokemon Yellow for the original Game Boy, and that one just on its own, I think ended up costing me. And again, this was out of case, no manual, out of box, all that kind of stuff. And even it just on its own was $45.
Yep. So I downloaded and I turned one of my tablets into an emulator. That's all I did on that tablet was emulate games. I had like 260 original games.
Nice.
Kind of like how, like, you remember how Mercedes has that, like little, it looks like an old arcade game and it has like a whole bunch of games on it, kind of like that, but I did it on my tablet.
Okay.
And I would just play Pokemon Yellow for hours to the point where I still don't know where that tablet is because Jamie hid it. You're laughing. I'm serious.
Well, because I'm laughing because I know it's one of those where, because she knows the moment that you find it, you're doing nothing except for playing 7 straight hours of Pokemon Yellow.
Yep. Like, and I remember we moved from one place to another and I found the tablet And I was like, what the hell? And she was like, I hid that. And I was like, well, don't do that. She was like, well, don't play Pokemon forever. And now it's gone again.
Hmm.
So there's that. What about books? Do you have any guilty pleasure books? Don't say romance novels.
No, if it was a guilty pleasure in anything when it comes to books, it would probably be all the books of trivia that I have. I mean, it's just an embarrassing amount of how you know this, like, because you have one of them right now. The amount of just
I
trivia
love
based,
that book.
it's so good. Right now, I have three other ones or four other ones. I saw one at Half Price Books last week that I almost got, which is it was literally like this big. It was so huge. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
and then I was like, I can't convince myself to buy it. I was like, my funds need to go other places than to buy more trivial books. But that is my
Oh,
that is kind of that one, and not so much now. It used to be. I'm not even sure if I have any of them anymore. I used to always get the Guinness Book of World Record ones. So every year that the
yeah.
Guinness Book of World Records, I would buy that one and just thumb through it and be like, "Ooh, what's the new records that they're going to, really focus on this year?"
Yeah.
Well, I used to have a good number of those. Like I said, I think I might have sold most of them back in the day just because they were taking a lot of space and there was no difference between, the Guinness Book of World Records 2000 and the Guinness Book of World Records 2001 really worth having both of them.
Yeah. So, a memory you just brought up for me. My grandmother would buy one for me every Christmas.
Yeah, it was the thing that my grandma would buy for me every birthday.
Yep.
It was the
And
birthday gift that she would get me from Walmart.
I kept them for years, like all of them, until I had a house fire and they all burnt up. So that sucks. But that makes me smile. That to know I'm not alone in that.
Yeah, yeah, like it was one of those things. I think what kind of started it is actually kind of a offhanded kind of funny thing. So before the year before Kobayashi just completely shattered the hot dog eating record
Yeah.
at 50. The year before it was at 25 and 13 minutes. And I was, I think, 14 at that time.
Did you try to beat that?
And so no, so when I was 14 at that time, I saw it in the Guinness Book of World Records. The most hot dogs is 24 and 13. It's 25 and 13 minutes. And I was like, I bet you I could do that. I could probably get that many. Like if I really pushed myself and like body trained myself for it, I could probably get to that point. It would be tough, but I would get to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. And my grandma saw me like so excited about this thing. So she bought me the book thinking I just liked the whole record statistics of it, which I still did like that side of it. I liked reading interesting stories about people. And then literally 4th of July happens and Kobayashi breaks the record and shatters it at 50. And I'm sitting there both amazed and knowing at the same time, man, something I could have possibly gotten into the record book for. I'm definitely not getting into the record book for.
I got to figure out how to make a poll.
For what?
Because I'm going to put on our page here.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Jeff could win a hot dog eating contest?
Probably not now. I haven't done competitive eating since I was probably about 21, 22.
You actually did competitive eating?
Amateur competitive eating from about the age of 18 until the age of 22. I would go to different places that held different eating competitions and try.
Oh, wow.
It was something I did like with some college friends and just kind of went out and tried it. So, they'd have places where it would be because you see it like what's the Man versus Food?
Yeah.
So he goes to those restaurants and tries to eat, beat those large food competition kind of things, what they offer. we try to do that with like pizzas and hamburgers and chicken wings and stuff like that. If a place had, either A, an eating competition of some kind, or B, some kind of large oversized food to where if you ate it, you got it for free and a t-shirt and stuff like that. I tried to do those just because I thought it was something that it was cool to push myself in that way.
Wow, I mean, I've always thought about like things like that, like a hot dog eating contest or something like that, and I always find it interesting. But I don't think I've ever tried it, except for grilled cheeses.
Now, that is one of the so Man versus Food, one of the seasons that he did after he was no longer doing it himself, just the original guy was no longer doing it. He was training people to do it. One of them that they did was a place, I want to think it was in Pennsylvania, that I think it was you eat 5 or 6 of their grilled cheeses in a certain amount of time, and you get like a picture and a shirt and some other kind of thing with
Well,
it.
I need to know about that because I'll go to Pennsylvania right now. I love grilled cheeses.
Right. And now the guy who he had do, I think for him, I think he got the wrong. I think he mixed up how he should have done it because he had the advantage because it doesn't have to be 6 of the same kind of grilled cheeses.
Okay.
I mean, and you're, but it's also not like, you're not they were, your typical Sonic sized grilled cheese. These were, uh, baguette style kind of sliced, so big old thick pieces of bread and like 5 to 6 pieces of cheese on each one. So you're dealing with a lot of cheese, a lot of bread, and you're expected to eat 6 of those.
I'm not going to poop for a week.
Right. And here's the thing, and he had the advantage. It doesn't have to be all 6 of the same kind. This is what happens, and it happens to a lot of people who do competitive eating and who do just food challenges like that. If you get something that you're not breaking it up within the taste, it's easy to hit a wall because all of a sudden the taste is no longer there to incite your taste buds and your stomach to say, "Ooh, keep that. I like it," because you're not changing up the taste of it. So he could change the breads and the cheeses on it. So you could, go, lighter types of breads, different kinds of cheeses, and throw that taste off enough to where you're able to instead of it all tasting the same after a while, you're able to throw that taste off and get that hunger to come back.
Have you ever eaten at a Tom and Chi?
No.
So literally, I found this fast food restaurant in I think it was it wasn't Nashville. I think it was Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay.
It's called Tom and Chi, and it is a grilled cheese fast food restaurant.
Yeah, sign me up for that.
Right, 100%. Like whoever owns Tom and Chi, if you could please bring one to Wichita, Kansas, I will run it for you.
And I will run it out of business for you.
Yeah, we won't make any profit. So we eat all of the grilled cheese. So you pick your soup and you pick your sandwich, and they have like I have to pull it up, but I think it's like 7 different types of tomato soup.
Okay.
Hold on. Tom and Chi. Okay. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay. And I'm guessing it's Tom and Chi for tomato soup and cheese sandwiches.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, let's see this screen.
This is macaroni and cheese.
Is it bacon and macaroni and cheese?
Yes.
It looks like on a white bread. And I can't tell if it's a white cheddar that they're going with as the cheese on the side there.
I'm not really sure. Let's get into it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's look at do they have a menu? Let's just go to handcrafted melts. So the bacon mac and cheese, white cheddar mozzarella and bacon award-winning mac and cheese. White cheddar mozzarella, beef bacon mac and cheese, white cheddar mozzarella. So they have a classic tomato soup. They have a creamy tomato soup. They have grilled cheese donuts.
Ooh. I've been to a donut place that did hamburger donuts.
Yep. So their soups. Like, okay, so they're only listing 2, but I swear they had more than that.
Well, if you probably just click on just their soups on their own, they might have like.
Well, if you are viewing a limited menu, please choose your Tom and Chi to view the full menu.
Gotcha.
So let's do. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Ohio, Kentucky, Ohio, Oklahoma. Bang!
Wait, is there one in Oklahoma City? Or is it Tulsa?
There's a Tom and Chi in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, we're making an Oklahoma City trip. Get some Tom and Chi.
Bro. Okay, West Memorial or Western Avenue? Pick one.
Memorial, because I know Memorial Road better. That's where my university was on.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So they have the Asiago
Chicken Club.
Heavenly Barbecue Bacon, the Bacon Mac and Cheese, the West Philly, which is basically a Philly cheesesteak with a whole shit ton of cheese.
Yeah.
Chicken Bacon Ranch, chicken, crunchy garlic chicken, pesto turkey, pick 2, build your own melt. They have salads. So they have a mac and cheese, which is under soups and mac. Okay. And then the 2 soups. They also have the donuts. They have a s'mores donut. Tots. Oh my god, we're going.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to check this place out. I mean, Oklahoma City is not too far of a drive.
We're doing this. We're doing this one weekend.
Yeah. I would be down. You said it's on what? You said it's on West Memorial?
Yes. So where am I at? Let's see here. Is there a zoom out button?
I wonder if it's out of your pops. Where are you at?
I'm going down. Okay, here's North Carolina. Right.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you're along the East Coast right now, bud.
So, well, I'm trying to find, but there's no zoom button, and unfortunately, my scrolly doesn't work.
Oh, you're trying to find the one that you went to?
Yeah, because I swear they had so many more different types of tomato soup. It's absolutely delicious. So we're gonna have to make that happen, and we'll go live from a phone or something to share this experience.
Yeah.
Because I love grilled cheeses. Like, and what brought that up is I was sitting at the table with my friend Sam. I was young. I had to be like maybe 9 or 10.
Okay.
And we sat down for lunch after playing outside. My grandmother made us grilled cheeses. And they were so good that Sam and I literally made 12 more grilled cheeses. We were talking about starting a business about grilled cheeses.
There you go.
Which I should have done because Tom and Chi took my idea.
Yeah.
That's actually happened to me a lot this week. So do you remember when I made the concept art for the Annabelle shirt for the Nespar team?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how he took the credit for making it?
Yes. I remember that being a whole thing.
Yeah.
That became kind of a thing that you and him had a discussion on.
Yeah, I was very upset that I
over credited rights.
Yes.
Creative rights.
He said that he created it, and that's a lie. I have the concept art to prove it. However, I digress. I'm scrolling through Netflix the other day, and this new show called Haunted 28, I think it is.
Okay.
Pops up, and I was like, ooh, this looks good. And it's about Ed and Lorraine Warren and a concept for a show. And I'm reading it, and it was like, from the Nespar team, they choose paranormal investigators to spend 28 days in a haunted location. And I'm like, that's my idea.
Yeah.
That's the literal idea that I pitched to the Bristol producing company. That's my idea. I came up with it 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So they stole it again. So
Yeah. Do you have anything kind of like how you have the concept art? Do you have anything for that pitch?
yeah, I have the whole presentation that I pitched to the production company,
Oh wow.
time stamped and everything. But you know what? Good for them. Nespar is leading the paranormal field, honestly, because they've been at it since like the 1930s.
Yeah.
So I can't really like bitch too much. But damn, like that was my idea, and they kind of took it after I shared it with them. So, but whatever, it's okay. That just means I'm on the right track somewhere.
Yeah. Just means you have to take an idea and fully go with it.
Yeah, I mean, if I would have like went to other production companies, I probably could have gotten it done.
Yeah. But that's a lot of time, effort, money.
Yeah, and we all know time is something I don't have.
Right.
I'm always doing something. I'm always busy. But back to guilty pleasures.
Yeah. So you're asking guilty pleasure book we got with about the Guinness. Would you consider that your guilty pleasure book then as well?
So the Twilight books,
Okay.
the Harry Potter books, any kind of paranormal, like there's and I can't remember the series name of it, but it like one of the books was Fallen. It was very much a teen vampire movie or book. Or the Vlad Chronicles. Oh my god, I love the Vlad Chronicles. It's like 8th grade bites, 9th grade sucks. Like, I love those. Those are very much teenage books.
The Wayside School. Wait, was it Wayside School? Never mind. There was a book series that I remember reading during my elementary years about this school that was like super really weird, offhandedly kind of, and there was like a library in it that was odd, and like the school was almost collapsing in on itself.
Sideways Stories from Wayside School.
That's it.
It's like kind of like the Amelia Bedelia books.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I read a bunch of those. I can't even, like I said, I don't even remember most of like. I remember the loose concept of what the books were. I remember reading those a lot in middle school. Well, not middle school, in elementary school.
This is a book that I got the other day.
What book is that? The Stephen King Tommyknockers book. Great book.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually like it doesn't have the cover or anything.
Right.
But it's not a very new book, I'll tell you that.
Where'd you find that at?
Goodwill, buddy.
I've found some good offhanded books and TV like DVDs. Like there's still a DVD I need to watch. Just that I think I showed it on here before. Marvel Collectibles. I don't even know what it is. I just know it's Marvel and it's a DVD, and at some point I'll watch it.
Yep. I also got this one.
Okay.
You can't see. You see right here.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of brown.
You can't see that with your naked eye, really.
It looks like just a little bit of brown smudgy. Dead Zone, good one.
Yeah, so I picked up a couple of hard cover Stephen King books because 'tis the season.
And it's a good read, even out of season.
Oh yes. So books like that are like, kind of my guilty pleasure. I'm trying to think of like any others. I love Stephen King's. That's not a guilty pleasure. That's just a pleasure.
He's a great author. It's just a good book writer.
Yes. There was a series of short stories that he produced.
Under his name?
Yeah. Actually, it wasn't one of the pen name ones.
Okay.
It was actually under his name, and I would sit there for hours and read that book while I was like a security officer in Georgia. But yeah, I think those are my only like real like guilty pleasure books.
If we're delving into the realm of like comics, like that's the thing is, I mean, yes, I typically try to I don't read as much as I used to. That's for sure. Like the Prime ones, the new X-Men ones, the new Spider-Man ones, stuff like that. But I do get a lot of like just random one-offs. Like I have almost all of Starbrand and a lot of like old Morbius comics, like Next Men and stuff like that. Just offhanded comics, like just not your typical. I mean, yeah, I have a bunch of the Teen Titan ones and all of their side stories and stuff like that. But I also just enjoy to get like the Valiant ones, you know, not non-name brand ones. I guess if you want to consider that, you know, if this primary series is your Marvels, your DCs, and your Images, or Dark Horse even, and so for me, I'd consider like my guilty pleasure one being like the Valiants and you know, Turok and Exo Man of War.
So, like, are these actually like comics that like you're a little bit embarrassed to admit that you like, or just like because like you're a comic book fan, and I feel like when you're a comic book fan, it doesn't matter what comic book it is.
It kind of depends. Like, I'm trying to think of. So if you compare it to like horror movies, right?
Yeah.
Some of these ones are kind of like your B movies.
Yeah, but what I'm asking though is, are you embarrassed to admit that you like these?
Back in the day, it was a hard one for me to admit how much I really did enjoy Bloodshot, because it was just so out there and offhanded, and he was the guy who was like, "You can't kill him," kind of thing.
Yeah.
That it just seemed very over the top. That it was like, you know, it was embarrassing to be like, "Yep, that's my go-to like hero."
Because I mean, I don't like, okay, like Twilight, okay, like yeah, that's definitely a guilty pleasure. I'm a
Right.
grown ass man that likes sparkly vampires.
Right.
Besides the point, but like Green Lantern, the Ryan Reynolds film. A guilty pleasure of mine is I actually like that movie because of what it was.
See,
they didn't do it very well.
I still am not a fan of it.
See, and that's 95%. Sean and I just talked about it today.
Well, okay, so like one of them. Sorry to take you off topic. No. One of them that I would say for you would be a guilty pleasure just because it is so hated amongst the rest of the community is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I love that.
The movie.
Oh.
You enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, oh.
And for me, I'm like, no. I'm like, you guys butchered the show and turned it into this. You guys had this
the same thing they did with Green Lantern.
You had such great source material, and you turned it into this.
Yeah.
And yeah, point taken. This the same thing with Green Lantern. You have tons of source material to make a great series,
and that's what they made.
And it's almost like, you know, like how it's you're given so much stuff that you're not sure where to start. It's the big knot.
Tisha says yes. You can eat a hot dog contest or win a hot dog eating contest.
Is this on Facebook and I'm missing it?
Yeah, because I put it on there. What do you think? Can Jeff win at a hot dog eating contest? And she said, yes.
I appreciate the support. That for my sister?
Yep.
Yeah, I appreciate the support from her.
So, getting back to that, sorry.
Okay.
I don't think that Green Lantern or Avatar: The Last Airbender were made very well. I appreciate them because everyone hated them.
Okay.
And a little bit because at least they were made.
I will say that is something that did I read the news article about? I read the news article about it after because I went diving into it. I started by watching a YouTube clip on it about the new Batwoman or Batgirl movie that was going to be out. That DC was making. They had it like 98% done. It was literally just minor polishing, and they completely trashed the whole thing.
Thank God.
And they're like, I guess from a few people who did screen it and watch it and stuff like that, they're like, it was actually really, really good. It's just it was had something to do with like a buying rights kind of thing. Like, oh, if they got rid of it, then they wouldn't be losing money doing it this way. Like more or less a tax write off.
So I was all for Batwoman the series,
Mm.
and it was so bad.
I think this was supposed to be Batgirl the movie, or
Okay, was it
Batwoman the movie.
Batgirl or Batwoman?
That's what I'm trying to remember. I remember they were supposed to be having one of the original Batman was supposed to be in it as an older Batman.
Okay, if one of the original Batman were supposed to be in it, then it was probably more true to the comics, where they did Batgirl.
Right. Which is, I think, what it was supposed to be.
Batwoman, the TV series, was absolute trash.
Haven't watched it. I haven't watched it. Honestly, when it comes to the DC TV universe, I am completely out of the loop on it.
Really?
Yeah, I never. I mean, I watched a little bit of Smallville back in the day. That's literally it. I didn't watch Arrow. I didn't watch Flash. I didn't watch was it Superwoman?
Supergirl.
I didn't watch Heroes of Tomorrow. I didn't watch any of those.
So I never watched Heroes of Tomorrow. I was a huge Smallville fan, even though I don't like Superman.
I think the only one I did watch, and I'm not even sure if they consider it part of the DC TV universe now, like how they're trying to make, was Gotham.
I watched that one. Not to its completion, though.
I did watch it to its full completion.
Really?
Yeah. The last season, the City of Owls, solid story.
Yeah.
Solid story.
See, I did not get that far, and I probably will. I'm more of a I'll take my time to watch something. Like Smallville. I watched maybe one episode when it was actually on air.
Okay.
A year and a half ago, I actually watched all seasons of Smallville, all like 16 seasons of Smallville.
I did that with The Office.
Yeah.
I watched
I don't watch it.
I watched one episode of it whenever it was talked about all the time, and was like, I could take it or leave it. Then they did their season finale, and literally 3 years after their season finale, I was like, I'll give it a shot, and ended up watching all the episodes of it and really got into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows that I don't get with the time on, like Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Everyone's like, oh, Game of Thrones. And I'm like, Now that it's over, I've watched like the first 3 seasons.
I will admit I was one of the people with Game of Thrones. I watched it from episode 1 whenever, like, right off the bat, and then was watching the new episode every single week. And then once season 2 came out, I went and rewatched season 1. I did that for the first 4 seasons. Actually, it was season ends when I know that the new season is going to drop in about 2 months' time. Start watching from the beginning.
I just feel kind of like let down because if I watch something that's new, let's take American Horror Story for example.
The NYC.
No, it's in
entirety. In its entirety. Okay.
Yes. I never watched Murder House when Murder House was on.
Okay.
It wasn't until Asylum was almost finished that I was like, all right, let me see what... Yep, season 2. That I was like, all right, let me give it a shot. And I watched Murder House and I loved it. Asylum, not so much.
Okay.
The next one, great. I mean, all the way up until like right after Apocalypse, to be honest with you, when they did Cult. And now even this season, I've watched maybe an episode and a half. I literally stopped it. And you know how much I like watching things.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I know that you will sit and you'll watch a show from A to B, point A to point B, even if the middle you're like almost like nodding your head about to fall asleep and you're like, okay, I'll go back 20 seconds to make sure I caught up with what's going on in the story.
Yep. I cannot watch this new season. and I don't want to ruin anything for anyone because I don't want to be that guy because it's still going on. But like, it's not American Horror Story. It's Philadelphia with a horror twist.
I enjoyed the movie Philadelphia,
So did I.
but I wouldn't want a horror twist on it.
No, I'm like, what is this? Like, this is an American Horror Story. Like, this is not. It's just not it. But yeah. So like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I watched Smallville, all 16 seasons, and Jamie actually fell in love with Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor.
Mm. He
To the
does play
point
a
where
really
she
good
sees
Lex-
him.
He does play a really good Lex Luthor.
He does, but to the point where she sees him in another movie, and she's like, "Oh, look, Lex." But yeah, so Smallville, I watched. I mean, I watched most of Gotham. I loved Arrow. I really did. I think I watched probably the first 3 seasons religiously.
They used to promote Flash and Arrow a lot of the time whenever I was watching some other shows on CBS. Because CW
They
and
had so many crossovers.
right, because CBS and CW and all that, they were doing their, hey, watch all of these ones on CW, then watch all the other ones on CBS. And so they would always be promoting it like during Big Bang Theory. They're like, watch the new episode of Flash on the CW. And I was like, ooh, I might have to catch that. And then never did.
Yeah, I mean, I watched The Flash, but my little brother Connor was more into The Flash when I was more into Green Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
Or Arrow.
Right.
So, but I mean, like, I've never been really a hardcore DC fan.
As far
Always
as the, I've always been more Marvel over DC. I mean, I still have, like I said, like I have a bunch of the Teen Titans comics. And just in general, I have a mixture of DC and Marvel things. But I think whenever it comes to like the movies and the TV shows, I've always leaned more. I always found myself watching more of the Marvel stuff than I have the DC stuff.
Yeah, even before the MCU, I was a Marvel fan. I mean, not to get too personal, but I'm literally wearing Spider-Man underwear right now.
Well, good on you, bud.
With my Michael Myers shirt that I made.
Nice. I like that one.
With my Halloween hat. And my Halloween socks.
Oh, I only have anime socks.
Show us your socks.
I'm not sure if I can get my leg up there to show it. It's the Uchiha.
There they are.
I think on the other side you can see it better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Uchiha clan from Naruto. I got new Naruto socks last couple of days ago.
That's great.
That is one of my other kind of offhanded guilty pleasures. I enjoy anime quite often.
Yeah, and that is a discussion for another episode.
Yeah,
because you're an anime fan, and I am not.
You are not. No.
So we're gonna have to make that an episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think for you, your anime is Pokemon and Digimon and maybe Yu-Gi-Oh.
I was not a fan of Digimon, actually.
Oh, well, shame.
Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, a little bit of Dragon Ball before they went crazy. I watched Sailor Moon as a kid.
I enjoy Sailor Moon.
But that shit went crazy, too, and I was like, what?
Yeah, but we'll have to have an anime discussion of some kind, some ones that I think that you might actually enjoy if given the time and the, hey, you should try this one out, because it's kind of horror based. Which there are some really good horror based ones.
I've made you have homework before.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one episode you're going to have to give me some homework
on
an anime you think I would watch or that I would enjoy. I did like Castlevania.
Okay, I was going to say, if you enjoyed Castlevania, possible homework for you, just a little. If you have, because I'm guessing you haven't watched it, watch Hellsing.
Hellsing. Like Van Helsing?
Yes, it is an anime Hellsing.
Where can I watch it?
I know at one point I was able to watch it on Crunchyroll, but they might actually have it on Hulu or Netflix. I'd have to look them up.
Where to watch Hellsing anime? You can also watch Hellsing on demand at Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV, and Crunchyroll. Is it dubbed?
They have dubbed versions of it. I've only ever watched it subbed.
Okay.
All
right.
and that plays into the Naruto thing. We will discuss subbing and dubbing on some episode whenever we discuss anime on an episode.
Right. All right. Well, everyone say goodbye to my life-size Michael Myers cutout.
Bye, buddy.
Bodhi hates him. He growls and barks at him.
Well, I mean, Michael Myers is known to kill dogs, so it makes sense.
It was one dog one time.
It was 2 dogs in the first movie, but we only see one.
Shh.
I also agree. Death Note would be one that I think you would enjoy.
All right, I'll give him a shot. I'll watch 1 episode of each.
I was gonna say I recommend 3 episodes for Death Note to really get into it because of how they do their cuts.
I'll watch 1 episode, at least 1 episode of Hellsing.
Okay.
And 3 episodes of Death Note, but I don't know if I could do it in a week because
I mean,
starting
soon. You don't have to break it up however you want to, bud.
Yeah,
But
because starting literally at 3:00 today, I'm on vacation for the next 3 days.
Nice.
Where we are going to be having our Halloween party.
Yay! All the
How much
sweets.
vacation's gonna be when we put your ass to work?
That's rude. That's how you gonna say that in front of the internet? Did anyone hear that?
Yeah, you're getting put to work. You don't get a vacation.
She didn't even put it nicely, like, "Oh, we're gonna have stuff to do." She was like, "I don't know how much of a vacation you're getting. I'm gonna put your ass to work."
Right.
So, but that brings us to our next hashtag. Sean is home. So everyone, Sean that recommends Death Note with Jeff, he's home.
Yeah.
Woo!
Any other scary animes you think that Max might like, throw them in.
Heck yeah. But we will see you guys next week, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Ooh.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.